Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at the major themes in the novel Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. In our previous lesson we discussed extensively the plot of the novel as well as the characters and the roles that each character play in the novel. Today let's look at the major themes in the novel. Okay. One of the major themes in the novel is that of colonization and its adverse impacts. In the novel, colonization is one of the major themes, which is introduced in the later part of the novel. When Okonkwo returns from exile to his village, Christianity has already spread so far. The entire tribe is facing trouble due to the new religion and civilization represented by Mr. Brown. Okonkwo knows that the white man is very clever, and despite having tarnished reputation in his own village in Umuofa, he locks horns with them. Okonkwo comes to know that Mr. Brown has started teaching the native how to read and write, and several norms and traditions have been abolished, calling them savages. Note that when James Smith was there, he was tolerant of the people, and he does not even condemn some of the new converts, appreciating their cultures which do not contravene their Christian practice. But when Mr. Brown took over, Mr. Brown was really hostile and calling the people savages, and ensured that any of the convert who practice whatever that has the semblance of tradition will be punished. However, it happens that the Igbo people become furious over this cultural onslaught, but not all of them. And this transformation of the local spread chaos and changed the indigenous culture, but at the cost of destruction, because the church was later born when Mr. Brown have taught them to ignore the tradition and also to call those who are not practicing Christianity savages and to ignore them. In fact, the masquerade was discredited by some of the converts, and that led to a lot of fight and anger, and the church was burned. So the destruction of the tradition of the people and the norms of the people of Umuofa is evident of the destructive impact of colonialism in Africa, especially in Nigeria and West Africa. Another major theme in the novel is that of family. Family is common in the novel, and for the Igbo, there are few key ideas that form the basis of an ideal family. One of it is mutual respect for each other, a reverence for all past fathers, and unity. The father is not only the provider for the family, but defender of its honor and teacher of his own sons and daughters. So the mother's main duty is to add to the family line by bearing healthy children and also to please her husband. So children are the inheritors of the future and are raised to continue the values of the old generation. This family unit is the most fundamental unit of society, and its structure can be expanded to fit a whole community, even a pattern of God, as exemplified in Things Fall Apart. And in the novel, Okonkwo was not so peaceful with his family, especially his father Unoka, because his father was a musician, a weak man, a man who was indebted to several people in the community. And Okonkwo doesn't like such kind of lifestyle. So his father was not really his mentor. And Okonkwo makes sure he is a strong man with strong emotion. And if there is any emotion at all that Okonkwo is willing to show, is that of anger. Not love, not care, anger. So another one is that Okonkwo's son Nwoye, there is also a disagreement between Nwoye and the father. Why Nwoye appear to be weak and Nwoye is not comfortable with some of the tradition of the people, such as throwing twins to the evil forest for them to die, and also killing innocent man like Ikemefuna. All these are part of the things that we're calling a lot of rumbling in Okonkwo's family. Okonkwo had the problem with his father, and also his son Nwoye also was having problem with his own father Okonkwo. All right. So as Okonkwo despises his father's softiness, he is obsessed with being manly. This desire to be manly leads him to be overly insensitive and controlling towards his wife and children. He even beat his wife several times, both the first wife and the second wife. Then another one in the novel is that of religion. Religion is the main arena where both cultural differences and similarities play out at the end of the novel. Religion represents order in both society, but they manifest differently. While religion in Umuofia society is based on agriculture, religion is seen as education in the white man's world. As a result, the gods in Umuofia society are more fearsome, since clan members are at the mercy of natural cycles for their livelihood. So, Mr. Brown, the white missionary, condensed this ideal of fearing the local gods or the gods of the people who are traditionalists. But in fact, the white man's religion takes root using fear as a tactic. So when clan members break certain laws or displease the white men, they are locked up, they are starved, they are beaten up. So the dialogue between one of the clan members, which is also a leader in the tribe, Akuna, and Mr. Brown, reveal how much both traditional system and Christianity have some things in common. Akuna agree, for example, that their own wooden carving of deities are just that wooden carvings, and there's no much attached to it. But he likens it to the figure of Mr. Brown. He is also the representative and the symbol of the Western God. So Akuna expresses what the narrator has already suggested, that the Umuofia people only pretend to believe in certain aspects of their religion, such as the marks god, who are really tribe members wearing marks. This dialogue about religion does a lot to carry out Achebe's mission of depicting Nigerian society as one of the far from primitive, depicting it instead as a culture with mythologies and rituals and an understanding of the mythologies behind those rituals. It is also one of the moments when more similarities than differences are stressed between the two cultures, the African cultures and the Western cultures with their religion. So religion also returns us to the Yeat poem quoted in the epigraph of the novel. The poem uses plenty of ominous biblical language in describing an apocalyptic scenario, which parallels the situation in the novel, where religion is the vehicle for the fall of all Umuofia society. Western religion break order in the Umuofia society by taking in outcasts and clan members without title and giving them power. By taking power away from the clan's authority, Western religion destroyed the clan's old method of justice and order, and creating an apocalyptic scenario for clan's former way of life. And the Western tradition and religion, which is Christianity, destroyed the entire religion of the people of Umuofia, and several of the Umuofia people converted to Christianity. Another major theme is masculinity. Masculinity is dominant in the novel as well. Okonkwo dedicates himself to being as masculine as possible, and through his rise to become a powerful man of his tribe and subsequent fall, both within the tribe and in the eyes of his own son, Nwoye. The novel explored the ideal of masculinity. Okonkwo believes in traditional gender roles, and it pains him that his son, Nwoye, is not more aggressive like he is, because Okonkwo wants his son Nwoye to be aggressive like him. As a result, it is revealing that he expresses the wish that his first daughter, Ezima, were to be born a boy. From this, we know how much Okonkwo loves Ezima. And in a meeting towards the very beginning of the novel, Okonkwo insults a man without title by calling him a woman, demonstrating how much masculinity is valued when ranking those in Umuofia community. So, through Okonkwo's adherence to masculinity, an aggression leads to his downfall. He becomes brittle and unable to bend with the changing taking place in his clan. In keeping with his principle of masculinity, Okonkwo forces himself to kill his own surrogate son, Ikemefuna, and murder a white man messenger against his better judgment. And what happened is he hanged himself before a punishment can be imposed by the white people. Okonkwo's aggression makes him weak in the end. It leaves him with no room to maneuver against the more subtle ways of the white man. Nwoye, the son of Okonkwo, struggles with this ideal of masculinity as he wants to please his father by being aggressive and traditional. But what happened? Ultimately, he is repaired by the violence in Umuofia rituals and joined the Christianity pervading the community. So Nwoye's departure can also be linked to his idea from Okonkwo's uncle Uchendu after the family is exiled from Umuofia. And Uchendu told Okonkwo that it is true that a child belongs to his father, but when a father beats his child, the child seeks sympathy in his mother's heart. And likewise, Nwoye seeks sympathy and comfort and safety in Christianity rather than the masculine nature of his father to deal with him. Even when his father disowned him, he continues. He doesn't care. Another one is that of language and communication. Language is a vital part of Umuofia society. In the novel, things fall apart. Strong orators like Ogbefi Ezeugo are celebrated and given honorable rituals and burials because clan meetings are so important for organization and decision making. These speakers play an important role for society. Storytelling is also a form of education for the clan, whether they are masculine war stories or feminine fables. Storytelling defines different roles for clan members and moves them to action. Even Western religion take hold because of story and song. And one of the things that converted Nwoye to Christian religion was the issue of the use of hymn by the Christian community. So he was attracted to the Christian community by the use of hymn. So communication is very, very vital in the novel because those who use this word well are well respected. So Achebe's decision to transcribe several words from Igbo language throughout the novel takes back some of this power, and then suggesting that the use of language and the ability to use language to communicate to the people is very, very vital. Another dominant theme in the novel is that of free will and faith. From the start, Okonkwo will seems to drive his ascent in Umuofia. Okonkwo rises from being the son of a debtor to being one of the leaders of the clan, thanks to his hard work and aggression. He becomes known for his wrestling prowess, and we are told that this cannot be attributed to luck. At the most, one could say that his chi or personal god was good. But the Igbo people have a proverb that when a man says yes, his chi says yes as well. Okonkwo says yes very strongly. So his chi agree. Chi means spirit. However, once things start turning sour for Okonkwo, he begins to blame his fate. This begins with Ikemefuna's death. Ikemefuna, along with the infant twins of the novel, represent the most straightforward victims. They aren't given a chance to act, but are instead acted upon violently. So Okonkwo blamed the oracle for his part in murdering Ikemefuna, though it could be argued, and is argued by the clan's oldest member, Ezeudu, and by Okonkwo's neighbor, Obirika, that he had a choice in whether to take part or not. So, when Okonkwo's gun splinter and he accidentally killed one of the Ezeudu's sons, Okonkwo faces exile. Can we refer to that one so as fate? Though Okonkwo's crop do well in the neighboring clan, Mbata, where he was exiled, he is allowed to return in 7 years. Okonkwo is completely discouraged by the experience, and we find a reversal of the earlier quote that a man could not rise beyond the destiny of his chi. So the saying of the elders was not true, that if a man say yea, his chi also affirm it. Here was a man, which is Okonkwo, whose chi say nay, despite Okonkwo's willing to continue. So we can say it is a combination of free will and faith that led to the downfall of Okonkwo. Another major theme in the novel is that of social transformation and tradition. The novel's title is a quote from a poem by the Irish poet called W. Yeats, from the poem called The Second Coming. And it reads, things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loose upon the world. Much of the novel centers on Umuofia tradition of marriage, burial, and harvest. Achebe's decision to use a third-person narrator instead of writing the book from Okonkwo's perspective demonstrates just how central the ideal of tradition is to the novel, since the third-person narrator can more objectively describe facets of Umuofia society, their love of proverb, or how they make judicial decisions. For example, to the reader, than Okonkwo could as an insider to these rituals. As the quote in the epigraph suggests, though this tradition that formed the center of Umuofia society cannot survive in the face of major challenges and major changes occurring around them. So as the white men enter the clans and impose their world order upon them, Umuofia society spiral apart, just like the poem projects the things falling apart in The Second Coming. So Okonkwo and his son Moye also symbolize tradition and change. Okonkwo's character represents tradition, since he holds conventional ideas of rank, reputation, and masculinity in high esteem. However, Okonkwo begins to fall out of favor with the clans, and his descent signal the crumbling of a traditional Umuofia society. His adherence to the tradition also drive him to kill his own surrogate son, Ikemefuna, drive away Nwoye in the process, and Nwoye feel cold when he contemplates certain aspects of Umuofia society, such as leaving infant twins to die in the forest and killing people like Ikemefuna. So, Nwoye represents and symbolizes the social transformation, and his father, Okonkwo, represents the conventional tradition of Umuofia people. There's another one again, which is the theme of fear. Fear plays an important role in shaping tragic fall of the protagonist. Fear was not only issue of Okonkwo, but there are many characters in the novel who became victims of fear. Okonkwo feared from weakness and failure like his lazy, shameful father. He was a brave man, but fear of weakness haunted on his mind, though out the life. So many of the characters suffer from fear of sort. Ekwefi fears losing her daughter, which is Zima, because she already lost 9 children in early age. So when Ekwefi's daughter, Ezima, became sick, she always feared to lose her. Nwoye was lazy like his grandfather, and his father Okonkwo beat him every time to make him strong. He fears his father's wrath and join white missionaries. Fear in this novel lead characters to behave in a negative way, just like Nwoye left the tradition of his people and joined Christianity. So these are some of the major themes in the novel. So we are going to be discussing other themes in our subsequent video. Please subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you get notified when the video on literary devices used in the novel is uploaded. Thank you. Have a good day.